Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sunday, July 23rd, 2023, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Now Mind You podcast. This is episode 78 manga. I'm TJ.
I'm Bryce.
Matt could not be with us. There were some personal things that he had to attend to, and we fully understand. We fully support him throughout this.
Indeed.
Uh, with that being said, in terms of announcements for today, keep our YouTube page. We've been throwing up the podcast episodes on our YouTube as well, so you can subscribe to the podcast via YouTube podcast and also YouTube Music. Other than that, nothing much else going on. Yeah, let's just get right into it. In terms of the docket for today, what do we have for you? We got Ippo, we got Sakamoto, we got Kaiju, we have Chainsaw Man, we have My Hero, we have Dragon Ball Super. Then of course we'll get into our favorite chapter this week, and we'll finish it off with our topic of the week, which is what this week, Bryce?
The topic of the week this week. All right. Let's see. It is. Got it right here. Which character has the best anime theme?
Boom. Now with that,
Boom.
I'll kick us off with Hajime no Ippo by George Morikawa. We're getting into chapter 1428 titled Resolve. Where did we leave off, if I recall correctly? Give me 1 second, y'all. Just trying to get that last. Oh, it was Miata and Ippo. Miata had just told Ippo in the previous chapter some bombshell news about Sendo not being able to accomplish the task of being able to defeat Ricardo, and then they kind of get into it in the last chapter. So kind of left with uh them kind of parting ways in the field, and Miata wondering, it's like, hey, or actually Itagaki in the shadows wondering why Miata keeps checking up on Ippo, like, does he think Ippo still has some gas left in the tank? Now, going into this chapter though, basically the summary, it's a new day. You have Ippo and his girlfriend, but not officially girlfriend, but they're basically in a relationship. They're just too shy to, finally admit their feelings for each other. They're fishing over by the pier, and Kumi just has a hard-hitting question for Ippo. Let me get into the review. So first and foremost, we got to give a shout out to George Morikawa for achieving the goal of selling 100 million copies of Hajime no Ippo over the lifetime of this manga. That's
Oh, damn.
fucking insane. That this manga has been around since 1989, y'all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's 1428, bro. Ippo's students worrying about the personal life, or his personal life, is hilarious. And they also called out how he seems to have the same reaction around Miata and his girlfriend Kumi, and that he's always blushing and being very bashful. Uh I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about Itagaki's sister and the fact that she has a crush on Ippo, but as in this manga, a lot of women have a crush on the main character. It's just what it is, and also a common manga trope.
Damn,
Uh
even got the juice, huh? Okay.
yeah. And then Ippo thinking that Mashiba's on his side when it comes to Kumi, but really Mashiba is playing him this whole time. And what I thought was very interesting in this chapter is that it was a slight switching of the roles, and that this is the first time, at least for me in recent memory, where Ippo and Kumi switched roles, right? Ippo was approaching things from the romantic side, which is usually what Kumi does, whereas Kumi was coming from a boxing perspective, which is like Ippo's wheelhouse. And she's doing this because she's concerned about her brother's next fight with the extraterrestrial that is Marcus Rosario. Remember Bryce, that character who had the, I don't even know if I want to call it a haircut.
Oh,
But yeah, that guy. Uh,
you talking
yeah,
about the Cenobite?
yeah.
The
shout out,
Cenobite that got
shout
loose?
out, Hellraiser. Evo went full boxing nerd once again, and we go back to the roles of the status quo by the end of the chapter. I'd like to see where it goes next, because I'm not sure. We can go into Sendo's prep for his title fight. We can go into Mashiba's prep for his title fight, or we can go to Ippo working with his pupils again. But there's a few different story arcs at play here. It'll be interesting to see where it goes next. But that's pretty much Ippo for this week. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Bryce if you'd like to take us into Kaiju number 8.
Let's go into Kaiju number 8. Let's do this because let me tell you something about Kaiju number 8. All right. These Kaiju these kaiju be cheap. They be cheating. I already mentioned this to Matt and TJ, but I just definitely wanna let our audience just be aware that these kaijus, rather kaiju number 9, he not playing fair. He know what he doing. All right. Let's get back into this. Okay. So Shishiro, ooh, that's a hard one for me to say. Last time we saw him, this Kaiju number 8, chapter number 90. Last time we saw him, he's pulling out a one sword. He's doing he's doing one sword style, taking on Kaiju number 12, and he is putting in work. He's got the poses, he's got the names for the styles. Number 1, Hayes draw, cuts off his hand, cuts him off again, does a stab, blows a hole in him, you know, really
Yeah.
doing the damage. And of course, Kaiju number 12 is trying to adapt, but it's working in his favor because he already said the Kaiju number 12 probably already has a plan for his two sword style. Him doing the one sword kind of takes everything, kind of takes that advantage away. But slowly but surely, Kaiju number 12 kind of starts to adapt just a little bit. But it looked like it wasn't really working. Like, Hoshina just kind of up the ante a little bit. But unfortunately, by the end of the chapter, we see the Kaiju number 12 adopted the damn one sword style mid fight.
Yep.
Hoshina goes for another strike, and guess what? Kaiju number 12 does the same damn move. The blowback is insane. We see that Hoshina definitely blocks it with his sword, but to see what happens next, we gotta wait like another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Gotta wait another 2 weeks. But yeah, this was a fun fight. It looks like we're gonna have to go a couple more chapters, probably be as long as the last fight. In regards to how this is gonna play out, I could see someone coming to help him, though I could see it, but I still see Oshina getting the last blow. This was a good chapter to me. Definitely interesting to see a kaiju that adapts and does like a one sword style. Where his sword came from, I have no idea.
Yeah, he pulled that shit out of particles from the air. That was crazy.
So maybe Kaiju number 9 like already knew about the one sword thing, and he just like, oh, just in case he does this, just start doing this. I don't know, but damn, that was a hell of a surprise. Yeah, this was a fun chapter. What'd you think, TJ?
I agree. I think the way that sword materialized, the sword and the sheath, mind you, materialized out of nowhere was disrespectful but insane.
Disrespectful as hell.
Alternative title: This bastard's evolving mid-fight in Vegeta's
Yep,
voice, right?
yep,
I'm gonna keep it brief. It's all about that last set of pages, bro. How are you
yep,
gonna hit Hoshina with the same move he just used on you? And even with 10 acknowledging Hoshina's strength, because 10 was like, I knew you were strong, like mid-chapter, right?
yep,
But it amounted to nothing because 10 then went back to being super quiet, right?
yep.
And it's serious when 10 is the one telling you to dodge. He's like, nah, we're not handling this shit head on. You better dodge, bro. Kaiju 12 was like, you found my core, and this gives you I'm sorry, you found my core, and this gives you power over me. Like you hit him with the Bane Uno reverse card, bro. Again, but all right, so here's what I think in terms of what lies ahead in the future. We know that the human kaiju suit hybrid power door got kicked open not too long ago. Literally the last sub arc with Narumi's battle, right? So part of me wants to see what Hoshina and Ten can come up with. But I got to give a shout out to my boy Brandon because he pointed this out too. He was texting me and he was saying like the stakes haven't really been raised like heavy yet. So there's been no real heavy L's taken as of yet, right? So
Ooh,
could Hoshina
that's
get
true.
killed? Could Kaiju Suit 10 sacrifice itself to protect Hoshina, right? I don't
That would
know,
be the
but
interesting way to go. Yeah.
it's a little it could be because, and I told this Brad, it was like, bro, you coming out of Jujutsu Kaisen, like, where it's been like Hopelessville, USA for like the past 7 arcs, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
But like the stakes have yet to truly be raised with, like, other than Izao Shinomiya quote unquote dying, like his consciousness fading to black. I'm assuming that's death. Have there been any present day L's in the Kaiju number 8 world right now? I don't know, but if there were any spot for it to take place, this would be the arc, I think.
That's very true.
I'm curious about Leno's whereabouts, what Kaiju Nine's next move is, considering that as of Kikoru's fight, Kafka is on the battlefield. He's out in the open. So what's the move? Right. I do want to see this sub arc completed though, but it was a really good chapter. The action panels were crazy. But yeah, that's all I got on that.
Oh, I can't wait for the anime.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
that's gonna be insane. With that, do you have anything else you'd like to add, Bryce, or can I take us into Sakamoto Days?
Kaiju's be cheap, but yeah, that's it.
Kaiju's do be cheating, bro. That's the so going back to Kaiju 9, bro, before we go to Sakamoto Days, he probably programmed a cheat code into him. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I need you to be ready to improvise and mimic and adapt and do their shit better than they do. But that's
And
neither here nor
honestly,
there.
I wouldn't be surprised if this kaiju lives and comes back. Because
Right.
it has one of the craziest adaption is one of the craziest powers that you will ever come across. Because all you
Right.
have to do is run away and come back later, and then you a whole different problem.
First of all, hilarious. Second of all, true. Third of all, we kind of saw that with Narumi's kaiju until he whipped out the updated Sharingan,
Yep.
right? It was essentially like, I see that. I know you're about to do that. I do that too. I can block that. This, that, and third. Whatever you do, you think you can do, I can block that shit. Like,
Yep.
up until he whipped out the brand new special, it was the same. It was the same type of battle. That's why I'm curious to see what's gonna go next. But
Yeah.
enough. Let's go into Sakamoto Days, right?
Do it.
Yuto Suzuki, chapter 128, titled Convergence. Where did we leave off last time? Kumanomi got out the water with one less arm. RIP to a real one, Hio. And shout out to you, Bryce and Matt, for covering last week's chapter in my absence. Appreciate you all, right? Now, how would I summarize this chapter? Jazz music, slow pace, then intensifies toward the end. Jazz music. First of all, wow, Nagumo on the roof with the inner monologue. That was the most hard-boiled shit we've seen so far today in Sakamoto Days. It was hard-boiled as
Nagumo's
fuck,
hard
bro.
boiled. That's
Jazz
a hard
music,
boiled dude.
the sound of a cigarette being lit. John Woo, when doves cry. Bro, the way he shot one up in the air for a real one, dog, it don't get any hard-boiled than that.
Yeah.
Like, RIP Heal. I kid you not. I was elated because like that's straight out of a movie, bro.
Yep.
That is straight out of a movie. My boy went up to the roof, shot one off for a real one. Like, come on, dog. It doesn't get more hardboiled than that. This chapter to me was not long enough. It simply wasn't. There's a lot I got to cover, but I have never been teased like this in a chapter where so many theories and hypotheticals we've talked about on the podcast kind of came to a head. I want to say, first and foremost, like, whose voice was it that Shin heard that freaked him out? Was it Kashima's voice? Because Kashima was the dude that technically had him like prisoner lab experiment back when he was a kid. Or was it Akira, anxiety youngster, right? Now, I agree with Sakamoto warning them all about Gaku because Gaku is not the one. It's warranted. He went toe to toe with Mr. Takamura and lived, minus an ear and a few fingers, but lived, right? Yep. But then it also makes you think, shit, Kumanomi is strong as hell because Gaku fears her, right? Yep. So they probably don't want any of that Kumanomi smoke. Now, we were just about to get to the bottom of Slur's multiple personalities. Kashima, Deerface, had him hammed up like, hey, it feels like every time I talk to you, bro, we're deviating more and more from the original ideals that brought me into your life. Like, what's going on here? I feel like I'm talking to a completely different you. He's like, it's funny that you say that. But then right before we were gonna get that reveal, bro, something happens. But I'm going too far ahead, right? It feels like Kashima is on the verge of a mutiny, And when it comes to people like Sir, it's always like a sick motherfucker, zealot type who's on some let's go back to the old ways, natural order that you got to worry about low
Yeah,
key, right? You
yeah,
can't just hit your wagon to anybody, right? The fact
yeah.
that Kashimo was suspecting him from jump is kind of crazy too. Now, for a hot second, the last 2 or 3 pages of this chapter threw me for a loop. For a hot second, I thought Akira was her auntie. I
Me
thought it
too.
was her auntie, Leon, stepping out from the shadows to end Deerface because he was asking too many questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
but the fact that even Uzuki did a double take means he didn't know that Leon had family. Leon might actually be dead. Although I still want to put that with an asterisk. I don't think it's confirmed, especially if he has multiple personalities. He may not remember what the other personality did, but I'm not going to digress too much in that regard.
Mm.
But the family resemblance is hella strong if he immediately took her for her aunt.
Oh, yeah.
Now, things just remember how I said the jazz music got fast paced? Things just got amped up to the nth degree because I'm assuming now Sakamoto and crew, especially if Sheen heard her voice when he was doing his scan of the warehouse to see who was up to what. I'm assuming Sakamoto and the gang are gonna have to expedite the mission because part of this was also trying to stop Akira from going full Akatsuki, right? Also, at the beginning of the chapter, she noticed on the chat thread, the text message thread, Heisuke was using emojis, which is something he doesn't do. So it's making me think, did Heisuke's phone get stolen? Was Kumanomi texting them? I'm a little concerned, right?
Ooh,
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
Shout out Kanaguri, who's on some y'all finna get this movie energy. Where's my anime announcement? I love this chapter. I'm gonna pass it over to Bryce.
I just think there's just one part that I want to focus on
Go ahead,
when
bro.
it comes to this chapter. And it is Nagumo's quote. And I think it really sums up what's been happening in Sakamoto Days. And I think it's very revealing. I think this is kind of what's gonna be like a thing to keep in mind when it comes to this arc.
Hmm.
Nagumo says, in this world, the first to die aren't those who lack talent. It's the ones who are good people. And not only does that go into Hio dying, but it goes into the conversation Hesuke had with what's her name? Kashima? Not Kashima.
Kumanomi.
Kumanomi, where he's
Yeah.
like, yo, you're killing innocent people. She's like, big deal, motherfucker. We got to get the job done.
The
And now going into
way she was so like bland about that, like, oh no, you killed someone now too. Guess we're
right,
the same. I was like, okay, what? Yeah,
right. And now going into this conversation between Kashima and Slaughter, where it's like, yo, like, what after we destroy the JAA, what did you want to build after that?
right,
And now it's very clear that he doesn't care about innocent bystanders. People can
right,
just die. Like it would be an assassin's world just full of chaos and just relentless murder.
right.
And Slur does not care. And of course now we're also ending with the fact that Akita's here,
Yep,
which kind of goes back to Rion dying, and we don't know why she joined Slur in the first place and what got her killed.
right,
Or maybe that kind of goes back to her. We don't know if she's dead or not, but if she's not dead, then that says something. That says a lot more than that speaks a lot more to what Nagumo said, where
yeah.
she survived, she lied, and she's just in the shadows, just waiting for this, and maybe still working with Slur to get on this to bring about this vision of his. So
I am 99% sure they had a romantic relationship.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did too, and I think it has something to do with like this secret thing that they all came from, like this
Yeah,
orphanage. I think it has
Alkamar.
something to do with that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we're gonna definitely get details about that in this arc.
Hmm.
But right now, we're just getting that build up. We just came off of a good fight. So how this is gonna play out is gonna be interesting. I think we're just gonna get a subtle little exposition dump, which I'm not mad at because Sakamoto Days just ain't missing.
Right. Right.
It's a great chapter. It's a solid chapter. I'm really excited to see how this plays out with Akira now being there. Um, Sakamoto just gonna bust in the room. I don't even know how this conversation is. She just gonna go right for the kill? I don't know.
I don't think she's gonna waste time, bro.
Yeah,
I really don't.
like
Like,
I don't think
yeah,
she can actually kill the dude. Like I don't think she has. I don't think she can do that.
I think she can. Remember, like she's already killed multiple times. The only reason why she hasn't is because Sakamoto intervened at literally like the last second.
Mm,
Like, hold on, wait, hold on, don't follow that pathway. I know you see that shit with your eyes. Don't follow that shit.
right, right.
Like,
Ah, yeah, that's true. That is true. Okay, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So we just gonna have to see. But a good chapter, good ass chapter.
indeed. Now, take us into Chainsaw Man.
Oh, we going into chainsaw. Okay, well then, just sort of a continuation of what happened last week. Um, Pretty much, um, Denji's still depressed. He is so sad, and he's at school. He kind of picks a fight with somebody, then he beats his ass,
Yeah.
and then he has like a one on one with who I still believe is Death. Uh,
Yoshida.
yeah, yeah. He's have a one on one with Oshida, and they're at the movie theater. This is just a weird ass chapter. It's so Chainsaw Man.
It is so Chainsaw Man. We were talking about that in the chat. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is yeah. Um, the chapter's called Normal Life, which so fits. Denji's sad, gets into a fight, as I said. He's talking to Oshida in a movie. We see that there's a devil that's dead in front of the movie that they are watching. Um, and they're just having this conversation about uh living a normal life. And then this Oshida brings a girl in, and he's like, yo, like, talk to this girl. Like, yo, this is part of normal life. This is what you want, right? And then Denji's kind of still out of it. And then, of course, Chainsaw Man gonna chainsaw. I just want to say that I promised TJ that I wouldn't
You
go
don't
in.
have to, just don't do it. You don't have to mention it.
Some
Oh, Bryce.
theater action. Denji gets a rub, gets a rub on his rubber dub dub. So that's how the chapter ends. Um, real wild, fam. Like that's Chainsaw Man gonna chainsaw.
It's on brand.
You think you're just gonna get like just maybe just you never know what you're gonna get, but you think that it's just gonna end on like maybe like a conversation note, like maybe something's gonna be said that triggers something. No, girl just comes in and starts rubbing. Um, gotta love Chainsaw Man. I'm gonna just pass it on to TJ.
Well, first and foremost, Bryce, I appreciate your restraint. I know that there's way more you would want to say, but I
So
appreciate your restraint, bro. The podcast appreciates your restraint.
no problem.
Feel free to wild out in the chat. uh, but no, similar to Bryce, I'm gonna echo him. Like this chapter of Chainsaw Man, it was just chainsawed. The whole thing, and to borrow another Bryceism, the whole thing turned left. In the most dingy way possible, right? Um, Again, Denji for me stands for doing everything necessary to justify intercourse. Since Denji made the choice to live a normal life, we're seeing a change of roles that echoes the beginning of the second half of the series, right? Where we didn't see Denji or Chainsaw Man for several chapters, but we saw and read references to him, right? Where Asa and Yoru were the primary protagonists for the beginning of the second half of the series. Now, Asa and Yoru are only heard of slash talked about apparently out here hunting devils like a motherfucker, right? While Denji is in the foreground, relegated to quote unquote normalcy. The questions I have regarding the ending of this chapter: did Yoshida essentially kind of pimp out his classmate? Also, is that classmate a devil or a devil fiend? I don't know what the red flags are entirely, but they're there. And simply based on the fact that the author of this series is Satsuki Fujimoto, I'm concerned. Um,
Very.
I'm just concerned. Yeah, that was my thoughts on Chainsaw Man. It was the most Chainsaw Man chapter to ever Chainsaw Man. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
You know what? That's up there with the bar with the bar chapter in the first part.
yeah,
And they get drunk and then
yeah,
that's
yeah,
up there.
yeah.
That's up
Like,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. His first kiss, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that's
Yo,
all
this
we're gonna
is
say
just an
about
Ayo
that.
chapter. This is I give this
Hey,
chapter five
yo.
Ayos. Ayo.
Uh,
What make it worse is the look on his face when it happens. It's just like, bro.
yeah, bro. It's like, come on, man. Also, no one's ever answered why Denji's teeth are so pointy. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's like, is he human? I ain't never seen no human with some pointy ass teeth. But uh next up, if you don't mind me transitioning us over to the next one,
All
My
good.
Hero 395 is what it is. Don't really care about the chapter title. Where do we leave off? Himiko versus Uraraka reaches climax
Versus?
and its
Did you say
conclusion.
versus?
Yeah, versus Uraraka reaches climax slash conclusion. I agree with Matt and Bryce. It's like, I mean, I've said it before last time I commented on My Hero on the air, but I know that their storyline is supposed to echo slash parallel Deku and Shigaraki's, but there are way more compelling stories that should and could be told. And I don't know, it's like at some point this train lost its steam. And now we're I'm just going to the chapter. Now we're here where Uraraka has lost too much blood from Toga stabbing her, and Toga having made one real friend. Actually, that's the thing too. Like Uraraka just really used a lot of Takano Jutsu, and I guess it worked. But Toga now having made one more friend who thinks that she has a decent smile and wants and accepts her for who she is. Now is in a position where she wants to save that person who finally acknowledged her and let her live as she wanted to live, despite the villains now being on the cusp of creating a world where Toga could live freely to be herself. And it's admirable. Um, it's a way to kind of redeem or for her to achieve some type of redemption and with one final act of goodness, I guess. We've seen this trope in TV, all forms of media, really. It just falls flat. And considering how death is and isn't real in My Hero, I don't know if she's truly dead. But if it brings this kind of unnecessary subplot to a conclusion, I'm all for it. It's just what it is. I think there are more compelling stories. Give me more of the heteromorphs. What's good with Bakugo right now? Is he back? Did that one hero who could fold himself, Paper Ninja or whatever his name was, is it over with? Is Best Genius complete with the surgery? Like I don't know what's going on there. All Might was about to turn into Iron Man or some type of Gundam fighting young All for One. So yeah, and of course, Deku versus Shigaraki. Like Shigaraki just molted into his second form. Where's that battle going? Right? What else? What else? What else? Belly Laser, who's still a bitch, shout out Matt, has yet to receive any type of comeuppance, right? There's so many stories that can be told. And I feel like there was so much potential in Uraraka's character development, Asuitsuyu Froppy's character development, and Himiko Toga's, and this just kind of killed that. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's just what it is. At this point, we're just really covering My Hero because we've all just we're in too deep And it's like it feels like it's about to end soon, so might as well see it through to the end. But even I'm wavering on that. But I'm gonna pass it over to Bryce. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. This shit ass. I'm gonna give it 10 cheeks out of 10. And let's go with a Dragon Ball Super.
All right. Bryce takes Dragon Ball Super.
So um
Yo, yo, go ahead.
it's as much as I can give for this. I got nothing else.
You rated it on the scale of cheeks to indicate how bad it was. Like,
10 cheeks out of 10.
and then he said, "Let's go to Dragon Ball Super." All right, we're here. Go
The
ahead.
math is math, and that's 5 asses. It's that.
Math is math. Oh my god. Go ahead, bro.
So yeah, we this is Dragon Ball Super chapter 95. We're still in Dragon Ball Superhero, the movie. But
Mhm.
we're getting like subtle details. I don't think they had this in the movie, but the police get a notification about like I guess some seismic activity happening where Gohan and Piccolo and Pan are. And they message Krillin, who is out with the family, 18 and his daughter. Krillin is reading the energy levels from Gohan and Piccolo, is wondering what the hell going on.
Right.
And then the police contact him and tell him that, yeah, there's a fight going on. And so Krillin's like, all right, I'm going to take my ass over there. And 18's like, yo, no, I'm going to go with you because you're not ruining this family day. Whatever the fuck going on, y'all gonna do this family thing. Which always
Mhm.
make I guess the daughter would just be normal, right? Like she wouldn't have any type of I mean, unless Krillin trained her, but chances are Krillin ain't training his daughter. That's just a random thing I was thinking
18
of.
might be training her though.
18 might be training. But we get moved back to the fight between Gohan and one. And it's a pretty good fight. Standard Piccolo and Pan are happy that they got Gohan fighting again. Um,
Mhm.
and of course, Piccolo gets involved. He starts fighting number two. Meanwhile, we start getting like this dialogue between Gohan and one and Piccolo and two, where they're like, "Yo, we're not the bad guys here. Like y'all are the bad guys. Does this situation not make sense?" Um, we get the fight between them. Eventually, it starts playing out like the movie. Um, Piccolo's fighting two, and then Piccolo ends up getting jumped by one and two and dropped
Yep.
in a hole. And that's when Shenron or Piccolo just remembers something Shenron says, and that power activates where Piccolo gets a new transformation, Orange Piccolo.
Uh-huh.
Um, Finally, Piccolo gets his own transformation. I love it. Um, so this is really cool. Now we can. They're probably gonna put more time into Orange Piccolo to see what Orange Piccolo can do. So I'm excited about that. Um, yeah, there's really nothing much to add. It's still playing out like the movie. Um, I think in a couple of chapters we're gonna start getting like those subtle differences that'll make things make this really stand out as an arc. I feel like we're owed that really because the fact that we got the movie and then we're getting the arc is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a pass it along to you too, Jeff.
Thank you. I echo 100% what you said. I think the alternative title for this would have been The Ultimate Father and Son.
Yeah,
You know, it's no secret that everyone thinks that Piccolo is basically Gohan's dad, right?
yep.
So he had a huge part in Gohan's development. Is what it is. I'm not going to rehash it, but yeah, no, I thought this is definitely adding on to the context with Krillin's police work and kind of tying that into how he ends up showing up at the Red Ribbon Army location at the final battle. Same thing with like Trunks and Goten a couple of chapters ago is like how they end up at the final battle. So it's like I'm not mad at this. If it's giving additional context, I'm not upset. Also,
Mm.
like how is Krillin getting away with like why does Krillin think that he can hide the fact that he's superhuman? This is just a random thought, but it's just like You know how Videl was saying to Gohan when they first met up that, hey, I saw footage of a blonde kid. He was the one who actually saved the world, not my dad. You were that blonde kid, weren't you? You know who else was over there in that footage? Krillin.
Krillin. And you
You
can't
know,
not see Krillin.
right.
That's a
The nigga's
big
got
bald
no
ass head.
nose with no nose, right? Like it's like I think that well, then again in Dragon Ball, you got all types of people, right?
Yeah.
But still, and also the fact that Krillin's been championship level top contender in the Tenkaichi Budokai tournaments since he was a kid. You mean to tell me no one recognize him on the force or in West City?
That's
Like,
true.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, how does he think he can just get away? It's like niggas will recognize him anyway.
Do you think motherfuckers just don't be paying attention to martial arts like that in Dragon
It
Ball Z?
it
They're just like,
seems
man,
to
this
be
shit's so
such a
old.
huge part of the culture though. Like, but then again, we are essentially kind of seeing things from like the Goku side perspective. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't really know what the day to day for an average citizen in that world is like, right? For an average like non-combatant, if you will, right? All we know is crisis after crisis, but we don't know is like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get up and go to work. You know, like we don't know what that looks
Right.
like out there. But that being said, it's cool seeing Krillin's daughter, Marin, I believe, right?
Yeah.
She's a full-fledged preteen out here, and I say this because we know she was born not too long after the Cell Saga, and she was a toddler by the time of the Buu Saga. We know that Trunks and Goten are older than her for sure, right? It was
Mhm.
definitely in her genetic cards, though, to be taller than her pops, which is hilarious. Um, I didn't know that 18 was that jealous because once Krillin got that call from the chief of police, she wasn't on that necessarily. She was on that. You're not gonna ruin this day, but she was also like, "Who's calling you? What's going on here? Let me
Right,
see it. Let me
exactly.
check your phone real quick." You know. But it kind of makes sense that she's a jealous type. Also, before we even got Orange Piccolo, did you notice how we also got in Piccolo? We got light skinned Piccolo
Oh,
because the lines
yeah,
on
'cause,
his
like,
arms, the lines on his arms in between, like the what you call like the membrane stuff that's in between his like arm patches, like on his
mhm.
shoulder, like the lines got erased. So we did get light skinned Piccolo, and then of course we got Orange Piccolo, and even with that we have Gohan and Piccolo poking holes in the Gamma's logic, so they're starting to question the orders they received
Yep.
from Dr. Hedo and by extension the Red Ribbon Army. I would say we're not too far off now from the eventual wedge that gets thrown in between Carmine and Hedo and the eventual releasing of Cell Max, which means we're not too far away from Gohan Beast. So looking forward
Yeah.
to that. It'll be cool to see what that looks like in manga form. See what Toyotaro does with it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say like all right, it's no secret that I've not been the biggest fan of them rehashing the movie and the manga. But if we're getting additional context and details or a slightly different approach to it, I'm not mad, you know? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Should we transition over into our favorite chapter this week?
Let's do it. You want to start? Or you want me to start?
You can go ahead.
My favorite chapter this week is One Piece. There was a big surprise, let's just say that, from one of the characters.
Mm.
And I think it was so perfect the way they did it. That it kind of, I feel like it was really enjoyable to see, and I feel like it was long-term story. It was enjoyable to see. It was long-term storytelling paying off, and I just think it was a feast. It was a feast for the eyes. I'm
Mm.
not gonna say any more than that because TJ, I don't think you're caught
No,
up
I'm
yet.
not
But
even close to being caught up yet.
yeah, you
Uh,
got some shit. You got some shit.
oh shit. Well, for me, I'd say Sakamoto Days by far.
Okay.
But I gotta shout out Mixed Master or Martial Master Asumi.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
that stuff is heating up in a really. It's kind of going hard
Yeah.
early. Dewey tries not doing too bad, and then what's it called? Wild Strawberry, that like zombie apocalypse one that just dropped not too long ago
Yep. Oh, did
on
the second
Shonen
chapter
Jump.
come out?
It came out on Thursday, bro. I'm still not done with the second chapter, but I just thought I'd mention it because I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad either. Like it's
You
it's
know,
it's it's interesting. It's interesting.
different take on the zombie
Hmm.
situation. You know, like real. When I say different, I mean like if you even watched or played Last of Us, it's even more different than that. Similar themes, but it diverges quite a bit.
Mm.
Um, Shit, let's get into the topic of the week, man.
Yeah.
Which
Topic
character
of the
has the
week.
best theme?
Yeah. Um, I don't know if you got a list?
Uh, just two.
Okay. Who you got?
I'd say for me, because I don't really pay attention to anime themes like that, because I don't watch anime as much as I used to. But for me,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say Ultra Instinct Goku,
That's a
and
good one.
still on the Dragon Ball tip. Oh, probably Super Saiyan 2 Gohan when he annihilated the Cell Juniors. And actually, now I think about it, Kamina's theme in I was about to say My Hero in Gurren Lagann. Anytime he was telling Simon to believe in himself,
Yeah, that is a good one.
I'm gonna pass it over
Okay.
to you, man.
So I am going to say, I'm going to say I I'm gonna say Aizen from Bleach, and I'm
Oh,
gonna say Shinji from Bleach as well. Escalon, I play that just to play it.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. Um, Give me just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Yeah.
You good?
Shinji Escalon, I play that just to play it. Um, like a good anime theme could go so well. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Luffy, the Straw Hats have a good one. That dun 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 dun
Mm,
dun 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 dun. Yeah. Dun
mm.
dun dun. I can't even stop playing it because it goes that hard. I think those are some solid ones. I think those are some solid ones. Um, well, commenters, you got to give us y'all's too in the comments. Y'all got to
Yes,
do it. Y'all
yes,
have to do it. All right,
yes.
don't leave us
Please,
hanging now.
please, please, please. Even if it's
Don't-
like an anime or a series we've never heard of, share it anyway. You might be the reason why we discover this, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
please, and shit. Well, with that, I think we did it, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to another episode of the Now Mind You podcast. This was once again episode 78 manga. You can find all of us on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Tuss4skate. That's TUSS number 4_SKATE. Where can they find you, Bryce?
You can find me on Instagram at Akshay_Onsa. That's AXE_ONCA Bay Bay. Where can they find Matt?
Y'all can find Matt on damn near everything because his brand is so damn strong
Hella strong.
at Matt Hambrick. That's MATTHAMBRIC. And y'all can find the podcast on most social media at Now Mind You Pod. That's NOWMINDYOUPOD. In terms of podcast distribution, you can find us by simply searching for Now Mind You Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you again, y'all, for listening. We'll catch you next week. If we don't catch you in the combat episode coming up. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.